Welcome everyone to the Nerd Nook. I'm your host Evan Teagle. With me, like always, is Noah Bailey. So this past week, the Nintendo Switch 2 came out, and I got one. Here we go. Here,
Woo!
yay! There's us.
Woo!
um, yeah. So before talking about the system itself, I just want to talk to you about my experience getting one. So I already talked to you about the experience of like pre-ordering and stuff,
Right.
but I did go to the midnight launch. I didn't have to, but I just wanted to experience that at least once. And I actually had two Switches on pre-order, one for me, one for my brother. The first one I went to was at GameStop, and I got to GameStop at like 10:30 just to be safe. Again, I'd never been one. I didn't know how many people would be there. I knew this was a like this GameStop wouldn't have as many units. So but I just wanted to be sure I got mine. And like several times throughout the night, I asked the people at the register just to make sure that like my system was there. I didn't need anything from them. Like I was good to go and whatever. Um, so midnight rolls around, and like the store was actually pretty packed by that point. I think they had 34 total, 34 36 somewhere around there Switch units available at the time. Um, and there were a couple of people in there who were like hoping to get one who didn't pre-order, but most of the people there were pre-ordering. Yeah, the couple that were just hoping to get one, they didn't get one.
No chance.
Other stores they had extras, but this GameStop did not. And it was actually a lot of fun, just like talking with we all got in a big circle, just talking about whatever for an hour or so. That was fun. But then when midnight came around, and this thing I'm going to describe to you, and it's the thing that I've heard happen at a bunch of different GameStops. For some ridiculous reason, GameStops seemed to prioritize pickups for people who paid off their like pre-ordered and paid off their Switch that day.
That's
Like,
not. Wait, what?
yes, I had my receipt. Other people had their receipts from when they paid it off, in the months prior, because the pre-orders went live on April 24th. I put a down payment that day and like paid the rest of it sometime in May. And when 12 o'clock hit, or like right before, the person at the counter specifically told everyone who has a receipt and paid today get in this line. Everybody who everyone else get in that line. I specifically asked them. So I have my receipt, but I paid for it a month ago. It's like you get in that, you get in the other line. It's like okay. So then they started calling in the line of people who paid that day. So the people that I had seen come in at like even 10 o'clock, 10:30, 11, who were who didn't pay it in full until that night, were getting it before me, who had not only had I been there since 10:30, I was the first person in the store on April 24th to get the pre-order. And yet I was one of the last people out of the GameStop because I was foolish enough to pay for it in full beforehand. Like I still got one. It's not a big deal. It just
But
made
it's
the
like
night
that.
go longer than I was thinking it would. Even though I did
You would
everything I thought was
think the
right.
ones who it's already paid for, it would just be a simple "Give me my Switch, have a great night."
Yeah, if it was people who had already paid in full and people who still need to pay, that's one thing.
Right.
But like
Paid for it months ago.
I even had the receipt. Like, but no, if I had a receipt from a previous day. People who had the receipts from today, they, I don't know,
What's up with that?
whatever.
Was that explained? That doesn't really make any
No,
sense.
that's just
No.
they just. I think someone kind of made like a said something and they were like, "That's just how we do it." It's like, but that's weird. Okay,
That's a terrible
and
idea.
then
I'm
once,
gonna. It's gonna make me not pay next time.
right? Um, but then once, uh, you know, the unit started rolling out, even though the only people there were people who pre-ordered, even as of an hour before time was called, everyone there already pre-ordered the system. All of their games, all their accessories, everything should have already been bundled together. They didn't just. They seemed to be like packaging them that like as they were coming out. They weren't already pre-put together for some reason. So like, you get up to the register and you have your number, and they're like, "All right, number 22, we'll get yours in just a moment." And then they like 5 minutes go by before the bag for 22 comes out. So I was there for like 45 minutes longer than I thought it was gonna be. Like, I didn't expect to be in and out at 12, but like they were almost till 1 o'clock.
I will say my experience with pre-order is very like, yeah, here's yours. We had it waiting on you for like 3 hours. Boom,
Yeah.
go. Like, it's very seamless.
Maybe there was. I could easily see Nintendo doing something like this. Maybe there's something about the way these systems and games are packaged by Nintendo that specifically say you cannot even touch them until midnight happens. That's entirely possible, but that still doesn't explain the whole like receipt situation of why I didn't get one, like why I couldn't get in the pre-order, like the
that feels like that would be a GameStop specific thing. Like, I don't know if it's just your GameStop or every GameStop or.
Oh, I've watched a couple of vlogs of other people doing midnight premieres, and like other people who are at GameStops, very similar situations were happening where, like you get to GameStop and you're basically given there was one specifically where it was like actually a pretty like big GameStop in Los Angeles. And everyone who got there, they were given like either a green or red or a white sticker or something like that. All the green stickers were the ones that who paid that day. The white stickers were the regular bundle. The red stickers were the Mario bundle. Mm-hmm. And they called all the green ones first, and then they called all of the white ones, and then the red ones, and like of course the one who was doing the vlogging had the red one. He was like, "But I've been here. Like I already I paid in full. I don't know. It's just a little funny. I don't know. Like, it didn't hinder my experience or anything. It was just.
That's still weird.
It was just a very interesting way of doing things, which just opposes very nicely with how Best Buy did it. Because, like I said, I had one for me and my brother. The other one was Best Buy. They also had a midnight premiere. And I was like, this Best Buy and GameStop are very close together. Let me just pop over there and just see. It was like 1:15 when I got there. Like, let's just see if they still are doing it. And yeah, they were still open. When I got there, there was a massive line, like, not like wrapped around the store, but like a pretty good ways around the store. So I went to the front and was like, is that the line for pre-orders? Like, oh no, that's a line. And he pointed to his left, and it was like 10 people. I was like, oh, cool. So I get by the time I'm in the back of the line, they already ushered someone in. So like, and again, it was very cool. Like, just talking to the people in line, because the way they did it, they ushered in like one or two pre-order people, and then one person from the other line. One or two pre-order people, one person from the other line.
Yeah, pre-order priority. Yes.
Yeah. Like if they have extra stock, you'll let some people in, but you don't let them in before the people that already actually pre-ordered it. Right. So yeah, I was in and out of there all 15 minutes, and it was very cool because like I had the Best Buy app on my phone. They just scanned it, like, okay, Evan, go inside. So I went inside. I stood there. And the way they had the inside set up, they essentially, like, by the registers, they essentially blocked off the rest of the store with just, like, walls of accessories and games. It was like, while you're waiting for us to get your stuff, you can,
Right.
See, the other stuff you want to buy is like, well, I didn't actually get a screen protector, so I may as well, $11, but I'll take it. It worked on me.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah. So yeah, like, I don't know exactly how they had their packaging system set up, but like I said, after they scanned me, it was, I would, like, by the time I got from in line to actually leaving the store, I think it was less than 20 minutes.
Mm.
Like,
that's how it should be.
Yeah. and
that's what people. You weren't even there at midnight. You got there like way after.
Yeah, like I'm sure if I had gotten there at midnight, the pre-order line would have been a lot longer. Like,
yeah,
but either at 1:15, I was out by. I think it was just after 1:30 by the time I got out. So, yeah, that was a great experience. I'll definitely, if I can, I'll definitely try to do a Best Buy more often. They just need to know what they're doing. Yeah, and it's also refreshing knowing what we know now, which we'll get to like numbers and stuff later. Like that Best Buy probably had a lot of extra units for not all the people in that other line, but still a pretty good amount of units for people who were waiting. So that was cool. Now on to the main event, the Switch 2 itself. So yeah, here it is. Yay! Yeah, I really like this thing. Obviously, I am a massive Nintendo fan. I got the original Switch back in 2017, not at launch, mostly because they were really hard to get at launch. Because Nintendo massively underestimated the demand for this thing because of how the Wii U and even kind of 3DS at the time were doing. They're like, oh, we'll only ship out 2 million at launch and then see how it goes. Like, big mistake. Like, they had to rush out 700,000 extra units just to try to meet demand, and even then, like,
no.
Like, the only way my brother and I were able to get a Switch for his birthday in June, again, released in March 3rd. His birthday is June 6th. The only way we were able to get one in June is we got lucky. We were just on GameStop's website one day, and we saw GameStop does this really dumb thing where they, like, when things are scarce, they only sell them in, like, weird upcharged bundles where it's like, oh, you get the system, but also a game and like some other accessory that you wouldn't really want, but like you want the system, you want Zelda, so you're gonna get it. Like, I guess. So like we ended up, getting that because we wanted Zelda, we wanted to play Splatoon 2 that was coming out soon, so we had to get that, and then I got one for Christmas that year. But even then, like that whole year, it was. The supply was horribly constrained again because Nintendo did not expect the number of people to that would actually be getting it. But yeah, like I said, I've had one since 2017, and the entire generation, I've been satisfied with my Switch, but the entire generation, my mind has always said the only thing I want out of the next generation Nintendo system is just a better Switch. That's all I want. I don't need any weird gimmicks. It doesn't need to reinvent the wheel. I don't want a top, I don't want a, PlayStation power. I don't need that. I still want it to be a handheld that can hook up to your TV and just improve on things here and there. That's all I want, and that's what this is. That is absolutely what this is, and that is so nice. Like, almost... I feel confident saying every single aspect about the Switch is improved on this system. Like, the Joy-Cons, first of all, come off with magnets. They just snap right on. It's so satisfying.
Nice. Like, nice.
Man. The Joy-Cons are significantly bigger, which I know
yeah,
you've been over here when we tried to play Mario Kart with the original Joy-Cons that just did not work.
Not a fun time.
Like, the sticks were so short and like didn't really seem to have much give to them. The the trigger buttons don't seem to really work. Maybe it's just because my system's 7 years old, but like I barely played the original Switch with the Joy-Cons. I always had either some third-party controller or eventually a Switch Pro controller. So I barely ever actually played it with the Joy-Cons. Even the very minimal play I had with those Joy-Cons, they were busted early into the Switch's life. Whereas the quality of these things feel so much better. The size is significantly bigger. The what is it, L2, L1, and R1 buttons, they're much bigger. Just feel better to click. And also just they're just bigger, just more comfortable to hold. Again, just a massive improvement across the board. And then the system itself. First of all, bring up your Switch real quick. I just want to I know you have the OLED, but just the fact that the original Switch, its kickstand is absolutely pathetic. I don't have my Switch with me because I brought it. I put it in storage somewhere else. But that is the Switch. That is the OLED kickstand. That is actually a massive improvement over the original Switch. The original Switch, for some reason, just had one of the panels on this side, or whichever side, it just flipped out, and it didn't even it was so wobbly. It could topple over easily. It was unbalanced. I don't know why I don't know how that passed inspection. I don't know why it didn't pop up on both sides. Why it wasn't one continuous thing like this. But this is better. This is so much better. Actually has point of contact across the entire thing. One thing that I might get into this more later, but one of the many pre-launch criticisms that people were throwing out before we knew anything about the system was that they saw this and they're like, oh, that looks flimsy and it'll break easily. It's like, no, it is extremely sturdy. It's not a full panel like your OLED Switch, but it's still a very sturdy thing that I don't foresee that breaking unless you specifically do something that causes it to break. But even then, it goes so far back. I don't see how you could do that by accident. So yeah, that's good. I actually feel like I can play tabletop mode with this thing now. Because before, not only did I feel like it was super wobbly, if I just hit the table wrong, it would fall over. Also, the fact that they have a USB on the top and bottom. So,
we don't get that.
While you're playing tabletop, if the battery runs dead, which I'll talk more about that in just a minute, you can just plug it in on the top, as opposed to having to stop your session or angle it in a very awkward way so it could plug in the bottom. You can still play on tabletop. That's just like I said, almost every single thing about this system is better. The one maybe I might have others later, but one kind of criticism I can potentially see, and it's not even something that I technically have because I had a version 1 2017 Switch, is that the battery life of this thing is technically worse than the one that you have. You have the OLED.
Really?
Yeah, the OLED Switch actually has an improved battery over the original. The Switch went through 4 major revisions over its lifetime. The original Switch in 2017, and then 2019, Nintendo released both the Switch version 2, which had the only thing it changed was it had a better battery. The original Switch had about 2.5 to 6 hours of battery. The improved Switch had about 4 to 9-ish. And then the Switch Lite had about 3.5 to 7. And then your OLED has about 4.5 to 9. So, and that's obviously, if you have the brightness all the way up, if you have, all the settings turned all the way on, and you're playing Tears of the Kingdom,
right,
or
full
something,
blast, full power.
Yeah, like you might get less than 3 or whatever, but if you try to do that on this thing, you're maybe going to get an hour and a half. They advertise 2 to 6. Even playing something like Pokemon Violet, which is a Switch game, it did get a Switch to upgrade, which again I'll talk about later. But even playing Pokemon Violet, I'm getting like right at 2 hours, which is fine because I'm always near an outlet. But like if I don't ever plan to do this, but I ever were to be on a plane or like a super long car ride or something, at this point I don't really feel super confident that this will last me the entire time. I would definitely need like a car charger or a battery pack or something.
Right.
But as far as what I'm used to with the original Switch, and just based on just how powerful this system is, just based on what I expect it to do in my day-to-day life, it doesn't bother me. But I have heard that criticism from other people, and I can at least be empathetic towards that. So, but that being said, like, the screen is a lot bigger. It is a lot more powerful. It just runs much bigger games. Like if you're playing Cyberpunk 2077 on this thing and expecting the full 6 hours, you're kidding yourself.
Yeah, I mean that's like, you would think that's like you would know that, but people will be like, "Oh, false advertising." It's like, well, like, come on, bro. Like,
yeah, like, and there's apparently even been like a thing with some early Switch units where the battery percentage displayed is actually slightly off, where like you'll get down to 5% and it'll just stay at 5% for a while, and you're scrambling for a charger, but in reality you probably could go for a little bit longer, but
why risk it?
Why risk it, exactly. Trying to think of other things. Before I get to games, the eShop. I don't know how much time you spend on the eShop on your original Switch, but man, is it a massively improved on this thing. Like,
really?
Yeah. If I like, let's do actually hold up your Switch like this and just turn it on and go. Let's both click on the eShop button at the same time.
Okay. Tell me when.
3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Hang on. Okay. And I'm already there.
Now we're there.
Okay, yeah. Massively improved. But even then, once you're here, even on the OLED, it is significantly laggy. Things just don't load super fast.
Yep.
That's something that apparently was just a limitation of the Switch hardware. Just couldn't run the eShop very well for some reason. But yeah, this thing actually is capable of running the eShop, which you shouldn't really praise it for because that's a basic feature. But the fact that it can,
you would think.
Again, all I wanted was a better Switch, and that's what this is. So, mouse mode is actually like kind of endearing. I didn't think I would really ever use it, and admittedly, I haven't played a game that uses it really yet. But I've played around with it on the eShop and just menus and stuff. It's very intuitive. The controller itself isn't. It's a significant improvement over the original Joy-Con as far as just playing regular games with it. And the mouse mode feature is a nice idea, but I could easily see, like, if I were to play Metroid Prime 4 or Cyberpunk or a game that actually uses it like as a mouse, I could easily see this finger getting cramped after a while, if not even 10, 20 minutes of doing this. I imagine there will be third-party attachments or even first-party accessories that make the mouse part more manageable. But the fact that you can just go from mouse mode directly into just moving around normally, on the fly. You can even like move around on your pant leg. It's yeah. It's nice. It's a nice little innovation that's about as far as I needed Nintendo to try to innovate with this thing. Again, I didn't need any weird gimmicks. I didn't need them to try to massively, do some weird gimmick here. I just wanted a new Switch, and the mouse mode is just a fun little extra thing that might get used. It might not. It very easily could just be the same thing as like the IR sensor that's on the right Joy-Con on the original Switch. After 2017, almost no games use that. So it could be a thing where like, oh, Metroid Prime 4 is actually like significantly better on Switch 2 because of that mouse mode. Or it could be like, oh, that's novel, but it doesn't really improve it that much. And about like, 2027 people even forget exists. But either way, I'm okay with it existing in the way that it does. Now, to talk about the games that I've been playing on the Switch 2. So, obviously, the main game is Mario Kart World. It's the premier Switch 2 launch game. There are like a couple of other little games here and there that were exclusive at launch, but that's like the main first party game. And you know me, I love Mario Kart. I instantly fell in love with this game. Like, there are a couple of things here and there that I had to get used to, but even after a while, like all of its merits became completely clear to me. So the first thing that I was initially a little concerned about is the thing that they do in Grand Prix, where after each race you then drive to the next race. And the reason why I was a little concerned about that is they specifically have it where, for some reason, in the Grand Prix, the first course, you do all 3 laps, or however many laps it is. Usually 3. And then, when you go to the next course, it acts like it's 2 laps to get to the next course, and then you do 1 lap around the next course, and those are your 3 laps.
Okay.
So I'm kind of torn on that because one, those in between courses, some of them are just straightaways. There's one in particular that's literally a straight line. Like there's some things you can trick off of, and like with 24 characters, like a lot can happen, but it's still just a straight line. It's the first cup. Like if that's your first impression of it, like I could easily see people seeing that, being disappointed, and then writing out the whole thing. You shouldn't do that. That's ridiculous. But like,
right.
I could see someone doing that. And also, the way it's currently set up, every course after the first one is kind of set up in a way similar to how some courses were in Mario Kart 8, where it's not, you don't do the same lap 3 times. You do, it's one giant course that over time
just keeps going. Kind of like, what is it? Mount Wario.
Mount
Wario. Yeah. That's one of my favorites. It just kind of keeps going.
That one in particular, I do really like. That's like the one exception of that, where I think that one actually pulls it up very well. There's others that I think it either makes the map feel too short, or like you don't really get enough time to like experiment with it. You got to wait until you get to that course again to like.
Yeah, you can't learn it as easily because it's not 3 of the same.
Yeah.
It's one long one. And also, too, it feels like there's always 1 lap of the 3 that's really... Usually the second lap always feels really short on those.
Yeah, exactly. So I was initially thrown off a little bit by the fact that that's kind of what every course is. If it were a thing where the in-between were a little shorter and then you do 3 laps... Because I don't know why the first one you do 3, and then the next ones you only do 1 of each. That's a little weird. I don't really understand that. It's like you get a chance to learn the first map of any given pack, but then I don't know. It was just, it's a kind of just weird design decision I don't necessarily agree with. I almost feel like they should just fully commit and have you drive to all four of them, but whatever. Um, but the in between courses are actually pretty neat, especially the further on you get in the Grand Prix. They do they do a very good job of kind of like melding the two courses together, so that by the time you get to the course you're actually getting to, it almost kind of feels like you've been driving on that one for at least half a lap to a lap-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the new courses are amazing. There's this one that's like it's like a haunted house type thing, but it's the framing device for the whole thing is almost like you're jumping into a scary movie. Like you're literally like jumping into a movie, like to a movie reel,
What?
and it gets like sepia tone. It's like all black and white,
Oh,
and like boos are
that's
flying around in
cool.
black and white, and it looks really cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, that like when I got to that one, that's one of the ones where I was like, I wish I could do this for 3 laps. I obviously can in versus modes, but like this is my first experience with it. I would want to like, yeah, do this multiple times, but whatever. Um, there's a lot of other pretty cool ones. I'll get to one in particular later, but even the returning courses, they either feel like just massively improved versions of the original, or so new they might as well be. Yeah, they might as well be completely new ones with like elements of the original, like Choco Mountain. That's been in a couple of different Mario Karts. I think it was there in 8 Deluxe in one of the booster courses, but I know it was there in the DS one. I'm pretty sure it was in 64. That was one of my favorites from DS, and I kind of like in the Grand Prix doing it. I was like halfway through the actual Chaco Mountain map before realizing, oh yeah, this is an old one. Because the only real thing that like tipped me off was that like there's a point kind of towards the end where this like giant boulder kind of rolled down the mountain. You got to inflate it. It's like, oh yeah, yeah, this is Chaco Mountain. That's what that is. Like it's I don't really know exactly how I feel about that one feeling so different. Maybe I just haven't played it in a while and it's just 1-to-1 and I just my one of my all time favorite Mario Kart DS tracks is Airship Fortress, and I heard that would be in this game, and man, that was fun here. Just the not only is it just like does it look really good in this game, it also lends itself so well to the new mechanics of wall riding and rail grinding, which I haven't gotten great at that yet. I know I've had the game for a week. I'm still getting the hang
It's been
of
a
it.
week. It
Yeah,
just came out.
you'd be surprised. There's people online who are already like,
That doesn't count. I mean,
yeah,
there's always monsters online from birth. Like it does that. I don't hold that.
yeah.
I don't care about that.
But just like going through it, I could just see all the different like extra paths you could take that just like would, yeah, it's really cool now. um, but yeah, there's like one or two actual race courses that maybe a little underwhelming, but I think every Mario Kart has its duds here and there. But any potential dud is completely made up for with this game's Rainbow Road. Oh my goodness, this game's Rainbow Road is awesome. First of all, you have to actually unlock Rainbow Road by completing,
Ooh.
by getting at least getting first place in the Grand Prix in every single cup, and then
Oh
Rainbow
wow.
Road will unlock. And like, never have I thought a Mario Kart game can like actually impress me in this way. Like they've all looked pretty good. They've all been a lot of fun, but this one just felt exhilarating. Like so let me back up just a second. Certain courses in this game. I don't know how they work in like the actual, like if you did it in versus, but somehow they'll do it is usually relegated to the last one in the course pack. You'll do your 2 races to get to it, and then it's like actually it's 2 of 6 or 2 of 8, where once you get there, it's actually like still one giant loop, or sometimes like multiple loops, but like some of the loops will have like different like deviations or whatever. Like there's one really cool one, either the first or second Grand Prix one, where you're essentially, the framing device of it is you're essentially going through like the original Mario Bros game with like the red like scaffolding, like there's a giant Donkey Kong like throwing like giant robot Donkey Kong like throwing barrels at you. I think that one's 6 laps. This Rainbow Road is 8 laps.
A rainbow? Is it like 8 laps of any wrong move, you're gone?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh no.
And
that's sweaty.
even as like, even if I'm wrong about this, I'm either wrong and just assuming something, or I'm right and don't even catch all the references. But I think the framing device of this Rainbow Road is essentially, the reason you have to unlock it is because in the quote-unquote story of this Mario Kart game, as much story as this Mario Kart game is allowed to have, the story is Rainbow Road essentially disappeared like a long time ago. So you literally have to like race until it shows you respect and it comes down. So as you're like racing in the between course between whatever, like I think it's Peach's Castle to Rainbow Road, you like, after you get done with one of the in-between courses, it like shoots you like up into the sky, and like this transition, like the screen literally goes to white and you're on Rainbow Road, and as you're going, like this train kind of comes by you. It's like, oh, that train looks kind of similar to the one from Rainbow Road 64, at least the one from Mario Kart 8. And then as you do that, you then go like, and you get into that stretch, you then launch into a different part of Rainbow Road that I think is a reference to a different like I think like every section is a reference to a different Rainbow Road. Like that is awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And even if I'm wrong, they all just look spectacular. And again, just the whole time, like, yeah, it is like super windy with no handrails anywhere, and like just a lot of boosts where there shouldn't be boosts, and just yeah,
no railing, so just death.
Yes. Yeah, it is. It's amazing. Like, it's one of those things where people online, like, you wouldn't really expect Mario Kart to have spoilers, but people online for the first week up until now were like, Rainbow Road is awesome, but I can't talk about it because I think it's a spoiler, weirdly enough. Like, I saw multiple people have that sentiment. It's like I want people to experience it for themselves because it is just that cool. And it,
look at the respect, the community. Who would have thought?
Like, I saw a couple of screenshots. Like, no, I don't want to see it. Like, actually, I want to experience this myself. And yeah, when I first experienced it, like, it was, yeah. And then after I beat Rainbow Road, like, credits started rolling, and it's like I didn't think this game had boss. Yeah, I didn't think this game had like actual staff credits at the end of like a story mode. I guess it does. And while the credits are rolling, there's like, in the background, there's like newspaper clippings talking about like the return of Rainbow Road. It's like, after, I don't think it said 50 years, but it's like, after 50 years, Rainbow Road has graced our presence again. Like, people are cheering all over the nation. It's like, cool.
Okay.
But yeah, that's really cool. I've also dabbled a little bit with Knockout Tour. Not as much as I should. I wanted to get through Grand Prix first and then like dig into Knockout Tour. Man, that is fun. Like,
It's such a cool concept. Like, it's something I've been wanting for forever, and I'm like,
hmm
yes.
like especially now that you have 24 racers, like basically battle royale, but
Right?
Mario Kart. Like it's really cool. And it's not just, from what I understand, it's not just like the main courses. It's not just the Grand Prix courses again. It's like a different mix of courses, which I think is great.
Is it like random, or how does it work?
There's so you know how there's Grand Prix courses for
Hmm.
Grand Prix in Knockout Tour.
Yeah.
There's like another 7 or 8, however many like
Oh, it's
cups.
like different sets of cup.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, cool.
yeah, and like there's no like intermission. Like after you get to the end of one course, you just keep going. It's like, oh, the four who were in the back, you're knocked out, but you keep going. There's no need for an intermission. You just keep going. Um, yeah, like I said, I need to dabble in it more, but it's something that I, even as against CPU players, like I think it's
Oh,
something that I
really?
think could grab me for a while.
Hmm.
Yeah, I will admit the free roam. I haven't really done a lot of that, just because it never really interested me, even from the previews and stuff. The little bit I've done, maybe I just like didn't start in the right place or didn't explore enough. But like, I'm sure I'll get around to it eventually. But as of right now, I don't really have much drive to to do the free roam. That was somewhat intentional.
I really thought you were gonna say I didn't have much drive to, well, drive, and
Drive,
I'm like,
yeah.
ooh.
But yeah, I've seen people, online kind of say both negative and positive things about free roam, or like, yeah, it's a lot of fun when there's actually stuff to do, but there's a lot of nothing. And like that's kind of how a lot of open world stuff are. I almost kind of feel like the main thing that excited me about the free roam is the whole like P-switch mission mode type thing, where around the world there's a bunch of different places where you can like activate a mission. I kind of wish there was a way to just do those missions just on their own. Like you don't have to go find them, but it's still cool that that concept is still around, because that is something that I've been sorely missing ever since DS. Like that's something that just they perfected back in 2004 and just didn't do again, and I don't know why. That's something that's at least similar to that in this game is, I think, it overall good.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, Mario Kart World is a very, very solid entry in the Mario Kart franchise. Yeah. um, I do like initially. I was kind of thinking one way, but I definitely swayed back the other way. I've seen some people say, "Oh, well, Mario Kart 8, Mario Kart World is cool, but like, I think either Donkey Kong Bonanza or some other game should have also been there at launch to help, really emphasize the launch." And I kind of disagree with that. First of all, I think Mario Kart World is absolutely the best launch game for the Switch. People have been
Absolutely.
playing Mario Kart 8 for 11 years now. They're ready for a new one with this brand new system. Like with Mario Kart 8 being the highest selling game on Switch, it just makes total sense for Mario Kart World to be there this early on Switch too. And second of all, Nintendo is always extremely good about essentially having one new game every month or two. And especially this early in a console's life, that is immensely important to have a pretty consistent stream of games. So that's why you're getting Mario Kart in June and then Donkey Kong in July. It's like you can wait just a little bit longer,
Yeah,
like
you're still playing Mario Kart. Don't worry,
exactly.
and it's backwards compatible, so it's
Exactly.
not like you can't play anything on it.
Yeah, which I'll get to that more in just a minute too. But yeah, there's a bunch of third-party games. There's a bunch of backwards compatible games. There's a bunch of first-party games that got Switch 2 editions or like 4K patches or whatever. Like,
yeah, but
you're playing
right. It's like
like unless you just somehow don't like Mario Kart, in which case, why do you want to Switch?
It's like statistically, if you already have a Switch 2, you want Mario Kart.
Yes. Like, does it suck that it's $80? Yeah, I don't really understand that decision either. I got it for $50 with the bundle, so I don't really have to feel that pain. But like, but like, people who are like, I don't think Mario Kart 8 is worth it at $80. I've only played it for 3 days, and I think it's just okay. Yeah, but Mario Kart World is one of those games you're going to be playing consistently throughout the entire lifespan of the Switch.
Yep.
So, like, because you put 20 hours in it over a couple of days, like, you're probably going to put well over hundreds of hours over time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I got Mario Kart 8 for free off of the Switch, off of like some sweepstakes thing I won. And even though I'd already played a bunch of Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U, I think I put over 50 hours collectively on the Switch for free. I think knowing that I somewhat paid for it, I'm gonna spend a lot of time in Mario Kart World.
Plus, it's just Mario Kart. It's the essential game.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, do I think it would have sold as well or even better at 70? Probably. Actually, definitely. But also, it's sold really well at 80,
really
so who are we to tell them that they did anything wrong here?
I mean, I don't think it really matters, because it's like, again, you're gonna get, it's Mario Kart. You're gonna get Mario Kart. Like, who had a Switch and didn't have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? Like, legitimately. Like no one. Like, you know what I mean?
It's literally has an almost 50% attach rate, which is unheard of for any game that's not a pack-in title.
But that's what I'm saying. But it's literally Mario Kart. It is Mario Kart is the most played video game probably in the world. So it's like, even people who don't play video games play Mario Kart. So it's like, yeah, you're gonna get it. Like, exactly. $80. If it was $100, people would still be getting it. It's Mario Kart.
Yeah, like I hope
they should make it $100, but still.
Like I said, I don't think it should be 80, but it is. We have to live in that reality.
I don't think it's going to sacrifice sales because of that at all.
Although, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, especially because Mario Kart World sold well, I think this would have happened regardless, but especially because Mario Kart World sold well, I imagine the next Zelda game might cost $80. Yep. I imagine the next Smash game might cost $80.
Yep, 100%.
Pokemon better never cost more than $70, at least in its current state. I like Pokemon. I'll talk about that more in a second, but like Legends Arceus already being $70, well, on the Switch. Sorry, Legends ZA on the Switch 2 being $70.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I mean, I'm gonna play it because I like Pokemon, but like,
but you see what I mean? It's like, oh, that's messed up. It's like, I can't believe you guys are doing this. As you take your wallet out, this is an outrage.
It's like that.
I can't believe
that Simpsons. Like, you just lost yourself a customer while he's just absolutely being bombarded with people giving him money. Like, sorry, I can't hear you. What was that? You just lost yourself a customer. It's yeah, speak up. I can't.
Literally.
But yeah. Speaking of Pokemon, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet were one of those games that was like heavily advertised as having a Switch 2 update. It wasn't like a full-on Switch 2 edition, so it didn't cost anything. Thank goodness. Would I would have paid for it anyway? Yes, but regardless, it didn't. It didn't get a free Switch 2 update. So historically, I've been playing Pokemon Violet. Sorry, I've been playing Pokemon Scarlet, but my roommate got Violet at the time, and then he hasn't played it in a while, so I'm now using his version of Violet on the Switch 2. And I've talked to you before about just how much I love those games. I think they are incredible, yet very flawed games. The only flaw that I've personally ever really had with them is the graphics are not great. The frame rate is not great. The pop-in was absolutely atrocious.
Yeah.
Like I would not be surprised if the fact that you played Scarlet or Violet, right?
Yeah, I have Violet.
Okay, cool. I would. So you know how trainers in those games, you gotta like talk to them in order for them to actually engage you.
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised if that mechanic was implemented out of necessity because they knew that as you're running around the world, they would just pop in randomly. Like that wouldn't be fair if you just randomly go, "What do you do?" Like, like that wouldn't be.
Yeah, like that or like you just stop and no one's there, and then you just teleport into a battle.
Right. Like it's already bad enough with Pokemon just spawning right in front of you. It's like imagine a trainer you
Bro,
can run from, but then you lose money.
That
It's
got
like
so annoying.
Yeah.
Especially the giant ones that would just appear in front of you.
Yep. Yeah. And like cutscenes, just absolutely chugging. Like that first cutscene in that cave where you're kind of just following behind either Miraidon or Koraidon, just it literally felt like the game was about to explode during that cutscene of when you're fighting that Houndour. It's like, okay,
right out the gate.
Like, and like I never had any game crashing bugs or anything. Like I never experienced any weird, like super weird visual glitches that ever fell out of the world or anything. I'm not saying that didn't happen. I'm saying it never happened to me. But I definitely still think, even though I played through Scarlet twice, once when the game came out, and again when the DLC hit, I started playing brand new playthrough. I have a ton of fun with those games. I think the story and just progression and just the openness of it is one of the best Pokemon experiences in general. However, I can't really argue with the people who say they don't like it because of the performance and graphics. That being said, Switch 2 version is a massive improvement.
Mm-hmm.
Is it perfect? No. It's still running on that same engine. I think it's doing as well as that engine can possibly do. There is still massive pop-in, especially with like mountains and like big like structures kind of in the background. Like it's better, but things just like by the time you get to it, it's fully loaded. But like you can kind of see it materializing as it's coming. There are still like frame dips here and there, but it's running at a pretty consistent 60 as opposed to a hopefully you're getting 18 on the original. Because the original game ran at 30 frames a second. No, it didn't. There was not a single time during my playthrough of Scarlet did I hit 30 frames. There is one absolutely infamous moment from Scarlet. I'm sure you've experienced it in Violet, where during the gym trial for the grass gym, where you have to like find all these sunflowers and like have them run behind you as you're collecting others. For some reason, those sunflower, as they're running behind you, literally are like moving. Like it's like during that sequence, those sunflowers are hard coded to essentially be JPEGs that are just like doing this behind you, like they're literally 2 frames of motion as they're running behind you. All while, and it probably isn't helped by the fact that there's this big windmill going in the background that also was running at like 5 frames.
It's
so
trying,
that's better.
Okay,
now. That's better now. Like I specifically like ran around the entire world, the entire city, with all those sunflower behind me. Like it felt fine. Like nothing seemed to chug. Like the windmill was running smoothly. Like it actually was running well. If anything, it almost kind of feels like the game almost kind of like overcorrected in certain areas, because now even more Pokemon spawn, where before like almost nothing would spawn in a certain area. Now like 20 things spawn in that area. And like, oh, now it's actually like a little more difficult to traverse around here now. Like, I don't even know if that was the original intent, or if it's like now that the engine can actually work how it was like intended, he's just producing more things here, which does mean that, even like it would even happen sometimes before, but now there have been times when like I hit run it, like I actually run to a Pokemon and like I run from the battle, and because of the way it works, where like your trainer model is like teleported to like kind of distance, something else runs into me, and then something else runs into me, and something else like 4 or 5 in a row before I just fly away.
Like, I understand what they were going for with the mechanic, but there's so much potential issue with that. It's just like,
Yeah. But, yeah. Regardless, just running, like, outside of that, running around feels buttery smooth. Like I said, there might be a stutter here and there. Like, it's not perfect. It is just a massive improvement over the original. Like, visually, things look significantly better. It's one of the things that you don't even like really notice how good it is until you look at previous footage. Because for this playthrough of Violet, do you remember at the top of those like stone towers there were those little like treasure boxes called Gimme Ghoul?
I'm trying to remember. It's been years, honestly, since I played this game. But no, I don't think so.
So kind of scattered throughout the region, there are these treasure boxes full of gold coins called Gimme Ghouls, and after you cash one or take one out, it'll give you at least 50 Gimme Ghoul coins. And the way you evolve Gimme Ghoul is you collect 999 of those coins.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, so
we're back.
Yeah. So I specifically was like, this is my 3rd time playing the game. I want to challenge myself, and the first thing I want to do. Yeah, first thing I want to do is go around the region, collect as many of these coins as I can, and try to get a Goldingo. So in order to do that, I had to go online and look up tutorials for the best way to get all of them, and they were playing the game from over 2 years ago, and it's like, oh, that's what it used to look like. Like, I had already explored like half the region by the time I'm doing this. Like, where's the others? And like, oh, that looks bad. That looks
bad. Well, especially like, when you're flying, like, and like stuff is just rendering just so slowly. Yeah. You're just like, ooh.
Yeah, but there were certain times like one guy was like, kind of like while he was talking, he was like staying on the top of the tower, just like just rotate the camera around, and things would just like kind of materialize as he was rotating. And it was like, oh, this looks bad. Pokemon are just like, just like freaking out in the background.
Yeah. Couldn't handle it.
Yeah, so it's like if you already have Scarlet or Violet, I would highly recommend playing it now. If you were hesitant on playing it because of the reported issues, again, it's not like up to like a like a modern, like a Horizon Zero Dawn or like Grand Theft Auto or something like with like actual budget behind it, even though Pokemon should have budget behind it, whatever. It is still a extremely playable game now. I'll just put it like that. It is about as playable as you would hope that game should be on a Nintendo system. And you just hope that the next Pokemon games will be better, but if they're even just as good as this, that'll be like fine, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, those are the 2 main games that I've played. I dabbled a little bit in a couple of the other games that had both reported switch to like actual specific updates, and also a couple of games that were that weren't like on Nintendo's list but still did get in buffs. The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom, the one where you actually play as Zelda. I just played a little bit in that. I kind of fell off it, but got like halfway through the game, just kind of fell off it doing other things. I never really had issues with it, but I definitely do remember people reporting that it had massive like frame dips and like some things
really?
with the graphics didn't look great. And again, I never really experienced it. Maybe it easily could be a thing where like after playing it on the Switch 2 and going back, it would feel worse. But what I did play on the Switch 2 for the 20 or so minutes I played felt really good. Smash Ultimate still plays absolutely great. I think it's like almost too good. It's like the characters like you know how after you select your character and like the battle starts, like there's that like splash screen of like your characters, and then like it'll cut.
Right.
That like splash screen is all like half a second now. Like, like you don't get a chance to see who you're fighting.
Yeah, you don't see who you're fighting. You just shows up. That's I mean, good problems to have.
Yeah. Games like Bayonetta 3 and Astral Chain, those are like 3D action games. They on this, I think Astral Chain is technically a 30 frame per second game, and Bayonetta 3 is a 60 frame game. Both of them, because they just were on Switch, had frame dips here and there, but because they are just on the Switch, they're able to lock it at their proposed frame, as well as something like Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, which is a great game, but that game chugged. Like it's good, but and it was kind of a thing where like, oh, you're one guy fighting against hordes of enemies, and like the like slowness kind of made it feel more epic, but after a certain point it stops being able to be played. So like you gotta wait for it to catch up. That game just runs at a perfect 30 now, which makes me super excited for Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. That'll probably be a solid 60. They actually run at 60 the whole time. I think that was it. I think that's all I've really played. But yeah, I've been enjoying it, even though like the vast majority of my playtime has been on older games. I don't care. Like that's what I got it for. I got it to play Switch games on.
So I mean, what do you expect? Like,
yeah, like I've said up top, all I wanted out of Switch 2 was a Switch, literally a Switch, but better. And this is able to play Switch games, but better. So that's
I see it as an absolute win.
Exactly. All right, so let's move over to the financial side of how all of this actually eventually shaked out. Did you hear about the launch numbers?
I heard they were great.
Yes. So before the Switch 2, the previous launch weekend sales report, the previous record holder it's a little hazy because the PS5 technically is the fastest first month launch at 4.5 million in its first month, and the PS4 was the reported the fastest selling at 2.4 million in its first week or something. But Sony is always weird about announcing shipped versus sold through, or they only report every month. It's that's why it's we didn't really report the PS5's first week, but also they had a staggered release of America first and then everywhere else the week after. So it's hard to compare. But knowing that as far as the actual numbers that we know for a fact the PS4 sold 2.4-ish in its first week. 2.4 million in its first week. How many millions of units do you think the Switch 2 sold?
Probably at least double, probably 5.
Okay, well, not 5. So
Oh,
3.5. 3.5.
okay, okay,
But still.
okay.
Like,
I knew it was really good. I just,
yeah,
but
that's still
yeah, that's still
really
insane.
good. And, like, it's just so. Just the narrative around the Switch 2 has just been so weird to me. Just so many people just insisting every single little decision Nintendo's made is going to be the death of them. It's going to be the Wii U 2.0. Like, like, like I. And the whole time I'm like, even if it doesn't technically beat any kind of record, it is still going to massively outsell the original Switch, based purely on knowing that Nintendo specifically said that they were going to try to meet demand with their stock, and also pre-orders sold out frame one. Like I told you about the issues I had with trying to get those pre-orders. Like it took all night on April 2nd or to actually get that pre-order for Best Buy. Now that could have been an issue just with Best Buy's infrastructure, but I still feel like the amount of units
Both things can be
Nintendo
true.
were allocated at the time were inadequate. And then after, like on like Friday and Saturday, this released on Thursday, June 5th. On like Friday and Saturday, there were people posting on Twitter, being like, "Oh, I'm seeing Switch shoes out in the wild. That means that no one's buying it. Ha ha! It's a failure." It's like, no. They specifically said they would be producing more than they think is going to be demand right now. Just they'll be out there for people that want them. And then it beat every record known to man. Like, there's been so many reports of Targets and Best Buys like getting new shipments and then selling out very shortly after. It's like there's a reason why those units are out there so that people can get them. Which, like, if it were the other way around, where like the original Switch, where they almost weren't, viable at all for the first, 6 months, that's also bad. So it's like, it's just the narrative around so there's been this adage I've seen thrown around with video game stuff specifically, is essentially if ever it seems like there is a Twitter campaign for something or for some video game system or game to be boycotted, assume another 2 million is going to be added on top of it. It's like happened with multiple times with Pokemon. Both Scarlet and Violet and Sword and Shield are both two of the best-selling games on the franchise. The Last of Us Part 2, people were trying to boycott it before for dumb reasons. And then when it launched, it was the fastest-selling PlayStation game at the time. Like, and now we have Switch 2. People are calling boycotts for this, that, and the other reason. Fastest-selling game system of all time. So, I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, did anyone actually think the Switch 2 wasn't gonna sell like? I mean, I know people say online like, "Oh, this is gonna fail," or "Oh, no one's gonna buy Mario Kart for $80." Like, yes, they are.
They are. Like, will Nintendo maybe learn some bad lessons from this? Possibly. That remains to be seen. The next system is going to be at least as expensive as this one. Games are going to be 70 or 80 forever. That's never going down.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's the same with all. I mean, it's just kind of how it goes, because it's like, if it's good stuff, people are gonna pay for it. I mean, say what you will about the Switch 2 is so expensive. Oh, Mario Kart $80, but like, I mean, it's quality stuff. People want their stuff, and they're buying it.
I just feel so vindicated right now, being a Nintendo fan, knowing what the facts are about this system, knowing that games aren't actually $90, like people tried to say after April 2nd, or after the April 2nd. Like the fact that people are like, oh, all games are $90. All games are digital only game key cards. Like, Nintendo will explode your Switch if you try to mod it. It's like some of that is like almost kind of true. Like, are there some games that are on those game key cards that are technically a digital license, but you actually do own it and you can trade it? Yes. Is Mario Kart $90? No, it's $80. Still maybe too much? Sure, whatever, but it's not $90. There's not a different price for digital and physical. The end user agreement that Nintendo released that said something along the lines of maybe Nintendo might break your system, maybe if you mod it in some way that they deem illegal. Is that in there? Yes, kind of, but also wording very similar to that has always been in the Switch user agreement, and also that is there in every other system. Is it okay that it's there? Maybe not. I don't know, but it's not just a Nintendo issue. So be mad at everyone if you're gonna be mad at just Nintendo. I guess I don't know.
Fair enough.
Like, just knowing that all of these things are either half truths or just straight up lies. And then it becomes the highest selling system of all time, as far as like first weekend. It's I don't know, it's a good feeling to me. I like when numbers go up. Yeah.
Success is good.
Yeah, and like to just completely change the topic kind of, I'm like, as I've told you before, I'm like kind of in a very similar headspace when it's coming to the upcoming Superman movie, where there's people left and right trying to like just say stuff about James Gunn, about the movie, about the actors, about the budget. Like, every time people bring up the budget, they're like adding 5-10 million every time. It's like, oh, it needs to make $1.2 billion just to break even. Like, no, stop that. But also, what if it does? Are you gonna, or like, what happens then? Like,
I mean, it's probably going to.
Like they keep releasing teasers and trailers that look pretty rad, and people only complain about it. It's like, are there weird things in there? Like, I don't know, maybe, but like,
why did he blink? He's not supposed to blink. He's super. I'm like, why is Superman shielding his face? He's Superman. Like, bro.
One of the dumber ones I saw from the most recent teaser, which I didn't actually watch the full teaser trailer, but I'm at the point where I don't need to see anything more. I just.
Yeah, I mean, it's coming out next month. We're ready.
Like, there's a clip where, like, a building is falling over, and a lady is, like, stalling in her car, and, like, she's seeing it coming towards her, and Superman catches the building in time for her to, like, get away. I saw someone be like, if Superman actually tried to catch that building, it would just crumble around him. He didn't actually save that lady. Or why did he just move the car? Like, is he stupid? Like, okay.
Is he stupid?
First of all, you're trying to apply real world physics to Superman.
Also, Superman. That's how Superman's powers work.
That's how Superman's powers have always. Like, you claim you're a true DC fan. You don't know how Superman works. There's been countless movies and shows and TV shows and comics.
Every version of Superman can do that.
Yeah, like. It's like Superman. It's either 1 or 4 in the Christopher Reeve version, where like he's carrying the Statue of Liberty by its finger. Like,
yep.
Logically speaking, that should break off and the whole thing should fall into the sea. Like, but it's Superman, so I don't question it.
I forgot what the official power was called, but essentially he has like an electromagnetic field or something that. Somehow makes weight distribute proportionally no matter where he's carrying it, so that's why he can catch a plane and doesn't immediately like fly through it and stuff like that, or catch a building
because that's rad.
Yeah, because it's just like obviously like physics doesn't make sense, but again, it's a comic book. It's not supposed to make sense. Like we can't be using real physics that with a guy who's literally an alien that flies around and can lift the building with his bare hands. That's kind of defeats the purpose.
So, like, I'm just getting really tired of all of the discourse about this movie, and like I don't even like at this point I don't even care about it like as a means of getting like retribution for whatever Zack Snyder did. I don't even care at this point. Like, people like those movies. I've made peace with that. I don't. That's the difference of opinion I can accept. At this point, I don't even know what these people want anymore. I don't even know like what their end goal is. But like, and I don't think this movie succeeding will actually shut them up. I think they'll just move on to the next thing.
Yep.
But at this point, I just want it to succeed just because I want this movie to have a big number attached to it just so I can just say it does, you know?
I want what appears to be classic Superman to succeed.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Like, yeah, and if there are things in this movie that also happened in Man of Steel or also happened in BVS or whatever, that like, oh, people criticize BVS or Man of Steel for this, but they're liking it here. Like, I feel it's all about context, but also, you know, I don't know. I just don't know. I just want the movie to come out. I just want it to be good. I would like it to make as much money as it is capable of making, which I genuinely believe is $1.5 billion. I know James Gunn has never made $1 billion movie before, but neither has Snyder, but whatever. But like, I think with he came pretty close with Guardians 2 and 3, both making 850-ish. With Superman in the peak of summer, like, yes, you have competition on either side of it, but like,
it's Superman. And it's not like, it's not a cryptic name. It's just Superman. Like, You cannot misinterpret what the movie is about.
If Thor: Love and Thunder can make $750 million in July of 2022, I would like to believe Superman can make double that in July of 2025.
It's true. To be fair, most of that Thor money came that first weekend.
Yeah, that's true. Which, like, I even kind of like that movie, but I could definitely see people not enjoying it. So yeah, I have another like little segment about that movie we might get to later if we have time, but I want to pivot back into video game talk just a little bit. The Summer Games Fest activities happened this past weekend, and Summer Games Fest is one of possibly the weirdest things in gaming right now, where Jeff Keighley, the guy that like created the Game Awards and has like been associated with E3 and other like big game business events like that for decades now, after E3 went under back in like 2020 or whenever it went under, Jeff Keighley decided he would kind of spearhead his own like summer of gaming event thing called Summer Games Fest back in 2020. I think it first in 2020. So his first year of COVID, it's like I feel it was just born out of necessity. Like E3 isn't happening, so I'll do my own thing. And it feels like every single year the like Summer Game Fest kickoff event that Jeff Keighley puts on keeps getting worse and worse every year. To the point where this past one that happened last Friday, it was almost 2 hours long, and not a single game I cared about was announced. I know I don't speak for everybody. Like, I'm happy for the people that like Resident Evil. Resident Evil 9, it's a Resident Evil game. Like, those games are always good, but like, it's a decent enough game to end the show on, but like, I don't know, it's just not for me. And Death Stranding is not my thing. And then almost every single other game was either one of three games. Either a roguelike, a Souls-like, or an anime game. Like Genshin Impact's like clone anime game. Every single game was one of those three. And most of those roguelikes were like weird. Like, gaming has this weird like thing with extraction shooters right now. It's like those just don't seem fun to me. I don't know. So every single game, Jeff is like, this game comes from like this new development team of 10 people, and like I think you're really gonna like this, and then it just looked like the exact same game I watched our trailer for 10 minutes ago. It's like, good on them for making a game, but like I already played that. I'm sure I've already played something exactly like that. It's like, oh, here's another shooter that's also like whatever. I mainly show up for Summer Game Fest for the Sony State of Play that always happens right before, and then the Xbox presentation that happens this weekend of. The main game from the Sony presentation that I want to talk about is someone over at Arc System Works who make the Blaze Blue games, the Persona Fighters, the Dragon Ball Fighters game, Fighter Z, whatever they call it. Mm-hmm. Those guys, they were like, Capcom has been taking a little too long to make a new Marvel v. Capcom, so we'll do it ourselves. So, Marvel Toko Fighting Souls was announced. And it is just a straight up Arc System Works Marvel fighting game.
Yep. I don't know. I mean,
like they have Iron Man dressed up like a Kamen Rider. Like, that is awesome. Like,
that is really cool.
I think the lineup that they showed in that initial trailer is very good. Yeah. Cap, Iron Man, Miss Marvel, Ghost Rider, Storm, Doctor Doom. Like, I appreciate them just coming right out being like, all corners of Marvel are here. We got Avengers,
we're not doing like
we got Inhumans, mutants, Fantastic Four characters, like everybody. Whatever Ghost Rider is.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's a 4v4 fighting game, which has never been done before.
I don't think so.
Like, most Arc System Works games, I think they only got it capped at 2, maybe 3. I know Marvel v. Capcom capped at 3, but those are also sometimes 2. Like, and the fact that the most recent NVC was Marvel v. Capcom Infinite, which was absolutely terrible. It was made during that time where they weren't allowed to use any mutants or Fantastic Four characters.
It was only like movie characters or MCU characters. I was like,
yeah, I get that synergy going. It's like, okay. Ooh. Yeah, which, like, in theory, a game focused around Sigma from Mega Man X and Ultron teaming up should be awesome, but it just kind of wasn't. like, I wish that were the story of a better game, but whatever. Yeah, this Marvel fighting game looks really cool. To kind of juxtapose that, in the Marvel presentation, they showed an Invincible fighting game called Invincible Versus. And I think that game looks worse. I know Arc System Works has their own flair to it that appeals to me specifically. And I'm newer to Invincible, so I care more about Marvel than I do Invincible. And like, I like Invincible. I think Invincible fighting game is that should have happened already. And like, I don't know the exact I don't know the studio's history with making games. I know that Arc System Works almost exclusively makes good fighting games. Like, I don't really know like the pedigree of these people, but like, just something about this game felt a lot stiffer than I was thinking Invincible games should be. It's one of those classic games where like the reveal trailer makes it look like it's gonna be a different game than the actual game. Like, the initial cinematic showed Mark and Omni-Man just like flying around the city, punching the crap out of each other. And I'm like, oh, is it gonna be like a Xenoverse style, like 3D, fly around like action game.
That would be awesome.
That would have been cool. But it's a 2D fighter, which like
Yeah.
I don't dislike 2D fighters, but
For
especially
Invincible, it's kind of it's
yeah.
kind of it's kind of how I felt about when they did the whole Dragon Ball Fighters, because I was kind of like, we're used to Dragon Ball Z games. You're literally flying around, blowing up buildings or mountains
Mhm.
and stuff, and here we're just kind of fighting. It's just like, it feels like we're really limiting the universe brand, but and that's kind of how I feel about this. And like, I feel like, especially like since that hasn't really happened yet with Invincible, I feel like they could definitely use that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like a mobile game that's like an adventure game, but it's not. It's
You
not.
know,
It's a
mobile game.
um,
Yeah.
like yeah, especially since the most dynamic scenes from Invincible are like him versus Conquest, him versus his dad, him on that planet with his dad fighting those two Viltrumites just around Omni Man and Alan in space against that one guy. Like I do kind of feel like a more free roamy 3D game is more suited to the world, but like a 2D game is also cool. It's just, especially in the way it was presented, it just kind of did the 1-2 punch of like, oh, this looks really cool. Oh, it's not what I thought it would be, and what it actually is looks just like a little. Obviously, it's not out yet. It obviously could be, smoothed out over time, but like, there's just a level of jank to it that I didn't really think we did anymore, and it's I don't know. Again, maybe it's just me comparing it directly to Arc System Work game, which are always very fluid and like very flashy, and this game just isn't like that. But oh well.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always more time for other Invincible games. Um, it like we're only on season 3 of like probably at least 5 or 6. I imagine that there's a lot of story to go off of. So there's still plenty of time for other games to come out. If us assuming the game could be cool, who knows?
Yeah, I think it'd be pretty cool. We'll see.
Yeah. And the last thing I want to talk about from the Xbox presentation is Xbox technically announced new hardware with the ROG Xbox Ally X. So the ROG Ally, I'll call it the ROG. The ROG Ally is basically like after the Switch came out in 2017, a bunch of different other companies started developing their own kind of like PC handheld type thing. The Steam Deck came out first in 2022, either late 21 or early 22. And then you had the Lenovo Legion, and you had the Asus ROG Ally. They're like very similar form factor to the Switch 2, with the screen in the middle, and even might be it's either the Legion or I think it's the Legion that has like even detachable controllers. But regardless, they're basically it's a gaming PC as a handheld. And now Xbox has partnered with Asus to basically functionally rebrand a new ROG Ally as an Xbox. Calling it the Xbox ROG Ally and Xbox ROG Ally. No, sorry. ROG Xbox Ally and ROG Xbox Ally X. They just cannot. Xbox is just immune to good names. I don't understand it.
They really are.
Like, I feel there's at least 2 better ways to say either like Xbox ROG Ally or ROG Ally Xbox or something. Just ROG Xbox Ally X just doesn't roll off the tongue very well, but whatever. And the reason why I find this especially funny, there's kind of 2 major reasons. One, Xbox spent a lot of time, energy, and money over the past year or so advertising specifically the ROG Ally as an Xbox. They had this whole marketing campaign over the last half of last year going into this year, where they had this graphic of a bunch of different kinds of technology, you know, other handhelds like the ROG Ally, obviously Xboxes, PCs, laptops, tablets, just a bunch of different technology that can use xCloud or Game Pass and be like, this is an Xbox. Like, yes, you have your Series X or S, but like other things are Xboxes. And when one of those is specifically the ROG Ally, and now being like, this is an Xbox, and now you're using that same tagline for your Xbox branded ROG Ally, I just don't see the point in that when the ROG Ally could already run xCloud and Game Pass on it because it's a Windows setup. So I don't really know what this is for. So yeah, that's maybe it's just my marketing brain just not seeing the vision. I don't know. It's just not what I would have done. Like, either make your own hardware and be like, this is our, like, either don't do that and just make your own thing, or just double down and be like, we're partnering, like, well, no, I don't see a reason to partner directly with, I guess, it may even be a thing where Asus came to them because, like, our little tablet handheld thing isn't selling that well. Maybe if we rebrand, we'll sell better.
I feel like they're helping each other.
Yeah, I guess.
The Xbox is kind of falling behind in the whole
A
console war
lot.
thing, so it's like, hey, we're falling behind. We're number three of the big three, and
Mm-hmm.
you need help. But I feel like if they really get this going and with Steam and everything, it's like, okay, now they're kind of all becoming their own thing while competing.
But also, I know that the Switch and these PC handhelds, they do fall under different niches. But the Switch 2 literally came out 3 days prior to this announcement, and you're like, it just seems like a weird time to try to compete directly. Like, if you announced this a year ago, back when the Switch was, very much already showing its age, people were ready for upgraded hardware. People were already being like, I'm going to switch to a Steam Deck or switch to a Lenovo Legion Go or whatever. Like, that'd be one thing. But now that the Switch 2 is already out, and it's already probably going to massively undercut it price wise, because the Asus handhelds are not cheap. They're like $600. And with the Xbox branding, that's only going to go up. Yes, they have the lower model, the Xbox Ally, just as it is, and they have the Xbox Ally X. I imagine that Ally X is going to be at least 700, and maybe the regular Ally is going to be 400. But also, Xbox already tried the multiple SKUs with the Series S and the Series X, and the only thing that did was just kneecap them because some third parties didn't even want to develop for the S, like Xbox demanded they had to. That's why Baldur's Gate was delayed on Xbox, because they couldn't get it running on the S for a while. So by the time it actually came to Xbox, no one cared. So I like, why even have the two SKUs? I don't know.
Yeah.
I've also seen reports of people saying that, like, yeah, it's cool that this system will be able to play, all compatible Xbox games. However, at this point in time, not every Xbox game is compatible with these handheld devices. That might change by the time the Xbox Ally comes out, but I, I don't know. it just seems like a thing where they're jumping into a market that they aren't really ready for yet in a way that doesn't, in my opinion, doesn't really benefit them in any significant way.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, like I said, it might be a way for Asus to justify putting more systems out on on stores, because currently these like most of these handheld gaming or like PCs, they're not really sold in like regular stores. They're sold in Best Buys and they're sold online, but they're not like in Walmarts or Targets or anything. Like they're like definitely more of a hobbyist product, which is fine, but that just means that they don't have the mass appeal that a Switch does. Which is why I've always felt the comparisons were a little weird, because you literally have to go to Steam's page in order to then buy a Steam Deck. You can't just walk into Walmart and get one.
Right.
So but because it is Xbox branded now, maybe it will be on store shelves.
Most
but also, if it is $700, like I'm predicting, like you see that next to a PS5 Pro, and you're like, I don't think either of those are enticing to me. But if someone new to gaming is coming in there, is like, the PS5 would be less. I think it would be more enticing because it's less confusing.
Yeah, I think that is a good point. I think a lot of people kind of again, people who aren't as in the know about it, they see it, they're like, I don't know what this is. I know PlayStation, that's a household. Even though it has Xbox on it, you're like, but is this a console? Is this a handheld? What am I looking at? Versus,
can it hook up to the TV? I don't even know if it can.
Right. Yeah. Versus you're like, PlayStation. I know PlayStation. That's a layup. Everyone. Yeah, I agree with that. It might, if that does happen, it's gonna take a while to get that transition.
Yeah.
Which they might not have.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. There's been no release date yet. I imagine this holiday, November or so. Hopefully it works out for them, but currently Xbox needs all the help they can get, and I don't know if this is it. The Xbox presentation as a whole was actually pretty solid. Again, there weren't that many games that really appealed to me directly, but I do have an Xbox. Every game shown was going to be pretty much, more or less, is going to be on Game Pass. So, if there is something that, even kind of intrigued by, I could download it and play it. But, new hardware should always be super exciting, and this time it just kind of fell flat, I feel. But, well, like I said, maybe it'll just fill a completely different niche that you can coexist with everything else and be just fine. Well, no, we'll see. All right.
Maybe. But we'll see.
Okay. One last topic here. It's time for another round of Nerd Clash.
Whoa.
So, this is Box Office Showdown 2025. Which movie will make more money at the box office this July? Jurassic World, Superman, or Fantastic Four?
See, this is wild, because, those Jurassic movies be making some money, which is crazy.
Every single one makes $1 billion somehow, and I don't know why.
Literally every time.
They're all terrible.
No, and it's weird, because, people just want to see dinosaurs. It just, it doesn't matter what the story, it doesn't matter, it's people just want to see that, which,
sure,
couldn't be me, but I get it. Okay, that's it is. So that I feel is a huge, because especially and again, summertime, peak, that is the most popcorn movie coming out, I would say.
Yeah.
In general, the summer, which
it's also coming out first,
right? Which that's gonna help a lot, because it helps kick off the summer. People who don't even like movies are gonna go see it. It's just the movie, the movie of the summer potential. And if it's half good,
Yeah,
might be
and
amazing. Like, unless it's just trash, it's probably going to make $1 billion.
yeah, and Gareth Edwards, he doesn't make bad movies. Like Rogue One was kind of a Frankenstein mess, and even that's pretty good.
Oh
Like
yeah,
he only made half that movie, and you can tell the half he made was very good.
he made.
The Creator that came out a year or two ago, no one saw it, but it's a very good movie. And he's making this, and it seems to be. It seems from the trailers I've seen, even though I don't really care about the Jurassic World franchise, like the trailers seem at least like it's gonna like at least have a very different vibe, and I think that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. However, it coming out first, I personally think is a point towards it. However, if you go back to 2013, and I know the ceiling for both these movies was never the same, but in 2013, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning came out early in July, and then 2 weeks later, Barbenheimer happened, and even though Mission Impossible came out first and like everyone who saw it liked it, it had just a massive amount of promotion behind it.
Mm-hmm.
It only did like 560-ish million, and then which was half of what those other two movies made.
Right. To be fair, the meme community is like 90% of the reason that happened, which I don't think you could like. That's very like lightning striking.
Absolutely.
Twice kind of violent.
And like I said,
that would not happen. I wouldn't count on that again.
Yeah, I think the highest grossing Mission Impossible was like 700 something. So the ceiling isn't nearly as high, clearly, as these Jurassic Worlds, which somehow like Jurassic World back in 2015 had like $1.6 billion somehow. Even Dominion, which every single person who saw it said it was absolute trash. It's like the only possible positives are the fact they brought back the old characters, and even then, that's not really enough to save it. Still, somehow squeaked by $1 billion. It's like how did this happen?
I'm telling you, Pete, it's an ideal popcorn movie, especially in the summer. It's gonna make its money.
Yeah.
I mean, it's honestly hard to say. Personally, I want Superman to do the best, and I hope it does. But I'm also, because it's kind of sandwiched in there, I'm kind of like, maybe, but I'm also... I think it will be Superman, but I think it'll be close.
Yeah. Like, in my head, Superman and Fantastic Four are obviously competing in a very similar Venn diagram of people, whereas Jurassic World is kind of over here. Like, there's some overlap, but not nearly as much as that. And I think it's very possible for Jurassic World and one of those to coexist very easily. And, it could be a thing where, because the movies are 2 weeks apart, a lot of people go see Superman, and then 2 weeks later, a lot of those same people go see Fantastic Four. It's possible. However, Fantastic Four, by nature of it being Fantastic Four, good heroes, very long legacy, they're not Superman.
Yeah. And their previous movies have been, we'll say, disappointing.
Their previous movies have been disappointing. However, Marvel at this point is at a good place. No one, unfortunately, people didn't really go out for Thunderbolts. I don't know why. It's a great movie.
Agreed.
But because it was a great movie, the people that did see it, and I think if it can be released on Disney Plus in June, and have a resurgence of people getting excited for the after credit scene or whatever, I think that could energize people then to go see Fantastic Four. However, I would not bet money on Fantastic Four beating those other two movies.
No.
No.
Yeah. But if we're wrong, hey,
we've been wrong before.
We
Oh, the Aquaman incident of 2018. Oh boy.
Now again, the Aquaman. I still say to this day, Aquaman. There was just nothing else there. That's not. I mean,
literally, the point of that discussion was who will win between Aquaman, Bumblebee and Into the Spider-Verse. Two great movies.
I know, but again, animated, great movies don't get the respect unless it's a Pixar, Disney movie, or some DreamWorks.
Yeah.
And then, that's what, the, sixth Transformer movie?
It was six.
People were tired of it.
And Transformers wasn't even in the title, so people...
Right! Right? So it's even... They're like, wait, this isn't Herbie Fully Loaded, halfway through, you know what I mean? It's just, it...
Again, even last time we did this back in 2023, we pitted Across the Spider-Verse against Transformers and The Flash, which you thought The Flash would win, and it clearly did not.
No, it did not. I didn't. Yeah, I granted, I'm kind of glad it did terrible, but it's also I didn't think it was gonna be that bad. I was really live action is generally king.
Yeah, but also. Across the Spider-Verse should have done better. I think 660 is good, but
come
on, that's a really good movie.
It's $1 million movie, yeah.
That summer was so weird because every movie that released in June that year did either really, really bad or kind of okay. And then July rolled around, and Dead Reckoning also kind of followed that same trend. But then Barbenheimer, both those made $1 billion.
And again, two movies that have zero overlap in demographic whatsoever. But because of the trend and the memes and just how the internet works, everyone was like, we have to see both for some reason.
Yeah.
And then they both made $1.5 million.
Yeah, so if the movie market is as healthy as it theoretically could be, obviously a lot of things going against it, but I think just with the way Memorial Day went this past month, with Lilo and Stitch unfortunately making a lot of money, which I think that movie's terrible, but whatever. Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay, we better talk about that later. And also Mission Impossible Final Reckoning also making a pretty good amount of money. And one other thing also did pretty decently that weekend. Sinners being that R-rated, which is amazing. Very, very rarely do. First of all, very, very rarely do R-rated movies, do very well. That's why their budget's always so low. So that way, return on investment is at least decent. But that movie is one of the very rare cases where it was actually going to be removed from IMAX screenings, and then the week later it got put back on, just because enough people were like, I wanted to see it in IMAX. Even just on a standard viewing, that movie is amazing. So yeah, if that trend continues throughout the summer with no one's going to see the new Pixar movie. I keep forgetting it's even coming out. But if How to Train Your Dragon does decently, so you didn't even know it was Elio, I think it's called. It's some space boy. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Couldn't tell you.
I will say How I Met Your Dragon. How to Train Your Dragon does look pretty good.
I don't know why it exists if it's just a shot-for-shot remake of the original.
Agreed. But
then you have something like Lilo and Stitch which changes too much, and that's also bad, so I don't...
That's kind of the thing. That's the weird thing. It's you don't want them to change too much, but you don't want it to be a shot-for-shot remake, but you also well, what do you want? It's what I want is you to not remake it and just watch
Just re-release the original in high def. I don't know.
Yes. That's what I actually want.
Yeah. So... So here's just here's my bold prediction for all three movies. I think this might be pie in the sky ridiculous. I don't know if there's enough money that could even flow in at this point, but I think the ceiling for Jurassic World, whatever it's called, is $1.2 billion. I think the ceiling for Superman is $1.5 billion. I think after all of that, and there's like one or two other movies that are coming out in July, I think the ceiling for Fantastic Four is like, I'm gonna be kind of generous and say 770.
Yeah, I was thinking like 800.
Yeah, like maybe it could be 850, but
That would have to do really well. Like, I mean, the movie would have to be amazing.
And I think it will be really good.
Yeah, no, and I do, but like, I mean, to make that much, I think you would have to just get the general public really on your side. Because again, we just had Thunderbolts, very good. People don't care.
People didn't see it, but Fantastic Four is a actual unknown property. If that movie were called New Avengers, if it were just called Thunderbolts: The New Avengers or something with the Avengers in the name, it would have easily made at least double what it did. At least.
Yeah, that's why they tried to do the name change like immediately.
I don't know.
Like, oof. Yeah, that marketing team is probably getting a talking to. But
yeah, I don't know. I like what they. In theory, it's one of those things where, like, if an indie movie tried to do something like this, where it's like, oh, it's this weird thing that actually connects to a bigger franchise, that'd be one thing. But when is like, I feel there was kind of a lot riding on this movie, and it just kind of petered out. But again, it was good. It was a little unfortunate how it was received overall. But yeah, I don't see a world where all three make $1 billion. Easily, no. 2 could. 1 definitely will. And I would put money on Superman being the one that makes that much money.
I would hope so. I don't know. I mean, but history tells me it'll be the Jurassic Park movie.
Yeah, yeah. Like, I would definitely put like a smaller side bet on Jurassic World, but like I would put more chips on Superman.
Again, my heart wants Superman. My gut tells me in Jurassic Park, or Jurassic World. But honestly, yeah, I could see them both doing very well. But I think. I don't know. It really just depends. Because, I mean, Superman is Superman. That's
I'm actually going to lower my prediction slightly. Because Deadpool and Wolverine capped at like 1.4. So, if Deadpool and Wolverine didn't make 1.5, I think Superman might be like 1.3. Yeah. Jurassic World will just barely squeak over $1 billion. Superman will like... in my mind's eye, I predict Superman making at least 250 at the domestic box office opening weekend.
Yeah.
Like 500 worldwide opening weekend. That'd be ideal.
Yeah, I think you could do that just on the name alone.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's clearly making it, no matter what number they try to make up, that's clearly making its budget back opening weekend, and then like I think they could easily get to 700 by the next weekend. Then by the time Fantastic Four comes out, they're almost there.
And just kind of like...
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Or it could be a Flash where they make 90 million opening weekend worldwide, and then it just kind of... I don't think that's going to happen. People actually like Superman, and no one really cared about the Flash. Even though Michael Keaton Batman was in there, but also... I think he shouldn't have been, but that's whatever.
And it was kind of weird, and it was it's like nobody wanted to see it, and the ones who did see it didn't want to see it again, and
So I think I told you this when reviewing Flash. Like, there's certain times you're watching a movie, and like early on, you just get this feeling where you're like,
oh no.
Like, I don't remember what point it was, but like it was like,
no,
when was it? I think it may have actually been during that first chase scene. Just something about the way Batman was like flipping around. I was like, this doesn't seem cool to me, and I can't quite place why. Like I should love Batman in his blue costume, which whatever, but like, you know, on this chase scene, you know, chasing a bad guy, but like, I don't know, just even that early, I was like, this isn't doing it for me, and then that feeling lasted the entire movie.
No. When we got the 2 berries, I was like, nope.
Oh, that was...
I was like, nope, that is not... Because you already didn't like the first one. So, like, you know, adding 2 was just like when you add a second character, that's like getting a second Jar Jar like halfway through like episode 1. You're like, nope, I'm out. Like,
Yeah. So my
like
biggest fear with Superman is like at the 20-minute mark, I'm like,
oh
something
no,
feels off about this. I don't know what it is, but like,
I don't
it's just I
think
don't,
so though. I mean, again, every trailer, all the sneak peeks, everything's looked really good. James Gunn knows what he's doing. Everything he's done with DC stuff so far has been great. His Marvel stuff's been great. Like nothing has been shown to make me feel like this movie. I'm not saying it's going to make all the money, but I think it will be quality.
I
Now,
agree.
whether or not that translates to a certain number of dollars, that just depends on
Yeah.
how the tables roll. But
Yeah.
I think it will be a great movie.
I think this isn't even like, really relevant to box office, obviously, but like I think it's gonna get like a 76 on Rotten Tomatoes. It's gonna get review bombed by those people.
The Snyder
Have like a
Boys.
40% like user score. Those people are then gonna use that echo chamber who specifically, review bombed it to then say, oh, people actually hate it because this site says so, even though they specifically ignore that site when things are like they ignored the Batman's good review score. Like whatever, like when it helps them, they'll use it. But whatever. Like I think 76 is I maybe it deserves more. I don't know, but that's just kind of the vibe I'm getting of it right now. Because even like Wonder Woman from 2017, which I think is pretty good, has like 78. Even though I think it deserves higher.
That was better than that. Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll see. Yeah, yeah, it'll be like we'll come back to this in like early August or so. Back from Fantastic Four, we'll have 2 weeks to see how that does, and
We'll review our
yeah,
choices.
yeah. So we'll see how that goes. Is there anything else you want to bring up or discuss before we sign off?
That's all I got.
And with that, we will see you all next time.
Take care.